Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes, that he hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Shalom. First I'll give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kadash, the bottom set apostles and elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are during the truth and in sincerity, and the women and children who follow. That was Jeremiah 49, verse 20. And it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely shall make their habitations desolate with them. And this is the prophecy speaking of those imposters, those so-called Jews that are living and dwelling in the land of Israel currently, drawing out, or basically starting off or getting this World War III started. Mainly the war with Iran. And over the past few days, I know everybody's been focused on this this so-called election. So what's going on in the world concerning the election? And this is exactly what's going on. We got this article. From the Jerusalem Post, it says, Israeli minister warns of war if Biden returns to Iran deal. Okay, it says, if Biden stays with that policy, there will, in the end, be a violent confrontation between Israel and Iran. So, whatever policies Biden is following, or he wants to, well, let's just read and it'll bring it all out. It says, Democratic candidate for President Joe Biden's position on the Iran deal could lead to war between Israel and Iran. Settlement ministers Tazashi Hamby warned on Wednesday night. It says Biden has said openly, Slakia, for a long time that he will go back to the nuclear agreement. Hamby said, I see that as something that will lead to confrontation between Israel and Iran. Hamby said that he is not concerned about a likely Biden victory on most fronts, including the area of settlements, but Iran is a glaring exception. The minister told Channel 13 News that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and most Israelis saw the Iran deal signed by the Obama administration in 2015. It says, known formally as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, as mistaken, that's an understatement. So basically, when he was vice president, Obama and Biden struck this 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action deal, and they thought that it was a mistake. They didn't really like it. So, these past 4 years or so, Trump has he had a different vibe in the Middle East. He was pretty much giving Israel anything that they wanted. So he's like, well, if y'all go back to this, man, it's going to cause war. So, Lord as well, Joe Biden wins. I know a lot of us were kind of rooting for Trump to stay in there, so to speak, just because he got the ball rolling. Well, in Ultimate Frisbee, you can take 2 steps and you got to throw that joint. You know what I'm saying? You got to pass it back and forth. So hopefully, we can monkey branch to a resolution that's going to get us about this piece. All right, we want to definitely get these prophecies started, get the World War III, okay, martial law. Because if Biden wins, that can definitely set up multiple prophecies. Like I said, with the World War III, with this, as well as Trump not wanting to leave office. Because if Trump don't want to leave office, then that can definitely cause martial law, concentration camps, so on and so forth. Let's see. Hamby said U.S. President Donald Trump's declared goal to negotiate a deal with Iran is not the same, because it would be a different agreement that will force through maximum pressure sanctions. So they want sanctions back on Iran. I did a video not too long ago about Iran becoming basically free to purchase and to make offensive weapons, not just defensive weapons. So they want that kind of Iran. They don't want an Iran that can go on the offense and can attack Israel, because Israel is not a real big country. You know, the whole landmass of Israel is about the size of New Jersey in comparison to Iran, which is probably, I would say, maybe the size of Texas. Texas and France are about the same size. So that sounds about right. In Texas, you know, they say everything is bigger in Texas because Texas is a pretty big state, you know. So that's pretty comparable. So that big of a country compared to that small of a country going to war, the only thing Israel, should I say, would have an advantage of is because they have a better technological offensive weapons right now. But like I said, with this deal being lifted and them able to purchase weaponry from Russia and China and various different arms dealers around the world, it's gonna level the playing field almost, you know. And not only that, I know that in Israel they make every man and woman, I believe, of a certain age sign up for the military. But the population of Iran is way bigger, so I'm pretty sure they have a much bigger military. Matter of fact, let me look it up real quick. All right, so here are the stats. This is how big is Iran's army. They have a little bit over 500,000 troops. Okay. Let's see. So, and they have the 13th. This is their military power ranking. It says Iran's armed forces ranked 13th in the world according to the GlobalFirepower.com's 2018 ranking, which apparently combined with various statistics to assemble a composite military power. It says, and then it says Israel ranked 16th with the military power. So it says that, you know, there are three above, and then that go ahead and that supports right here. Yeah, it says the same thing. United States ranks number 1, followed by Russia, China, India, France, Great Britain. So even though the United States is number 1, Russia and China being 2 and 3, and then Iran at 13, that's still pretty high ranking, considering that, you know, that triangle of nations have such a strong pact together that you know, if anything pops off, you have 3 strong military military entities, for lack of a better term, to back each other up. And as they said the least of the flock shall draw them out. That this whole conflict that we're speaking on, okay, America is gonna back Iran. Slakia, America's gonna back Israel. Always has, always will. Okay, and that's gonna be its downfall. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can find this scripture. Yeah, okay. This is Obadiah, verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. Okay, so that's talking about the men of thy confederacy. All of, Europe, NATO, all those nations that are in league with them right now, the ones who have been at peace with them, okay, says that they're going to lay a wound under them. They're going to lay a wound under thee. The ones that ate bread with them, they supped with them, okay? They came up together. They were partners, so to speak. The tables are going to be turned. And the U.S. is going to be on the outside looking in, just the U.S. and Israel, okay? So that's the implications of this article from the Jerusalem Post. So this is from Israel. Fuck you. Says, I assume that even if the Iran deal is renewed, it will be better than the previous one. He told Army Radio on Thursday. There's a broad agreement that had signified holes when it comes to the interests of the free world. Howard said the Middle East has changed since Biden left office in 2016. This is a Middle East which Iran is much more dangerous, and which its weapons and technology are much more accurate and much deadlier. This is not just Israel's problem, but the whole world's problem. So now they're trying to, make it an international incident. Hey, we need to all be afraid of Iran, the big bad wolf. But here it is, America, with the strongest army that we just seen, strongest army in the world, is going around throwing his weight around everywhere it wants to. But we need to worry about Iran. Okay, it says, though Biden and Trump may have different ways of reaching an agreement with Iran, Hauser said the result is what's important. This is what's most important. Is he restraining Iran and preventing it from getting nuclear weapons? Well, guess what? Iran's making a new nuclear plant. And ain't nothing nobody can do about it right now. Because all those deals have expired. So they can do whatever they want. If they want to buy a nuke from Russia, they could do that. Let me see. It says a nuclear Iran would trigger an arms race with Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt would develop their own nuclear weapons, Hauser warned. So basically, he's saying if Iran gets the nuke, then all of the smaller countries that don't really see eye to eye with Iran, whether it be the Sunni Shiite thing or for whatever reason, they're going to basically run it up. And all of them are going to get weapons, and then nobody's going to be safe. So, but nobody's saying, Israel get rid of their weapons or the United States get rid of their nukes. Britain, France, India, y'all get rid of y'all nukes too. No, we can keep our nukes, but you can't have one. Because if you get one, then everybody will get one, but we're not going to get rid of ours. But that's the logic of America. So that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of this article. It's a pretty good read. I'm going to definitely put the link in the description if you want to check out more. With that being said, I'll give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakar Kadash, the bottom set apostles, and elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are dying in truth and in sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.